Right, greetings, sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body Culinary, and it's coming to this Sunday. It's been quite a day full of classes, and this evening we're getting ready to embark on a series. So, I've been mentioning for a while that those folks that are interested in leaving stress eating and binge eating and eating full of anxiety in the past, if you're going to remove something, you're going to replace it with something. So I'm going to be replacing it with an evening routine. So I'm inviting you to join me for what people will call intermittent fasting. My grandmother would call it the light. The sun is going down. Turn off the light. Close the kitchen. Close your mouth and go rest. So it's going to be intermittent fasting and rest and digest and yoga, or stretch, rest, and reset, so that your body can have a rest and digesting food all day. We're not meant actually to be eating all day. The pace that we are moving at has us a lot out of anxiety, and we also consider the amount of stress that we are under, a lot of psychological stress. Even engaging in these computer, aka computer smartphone screens, all the stimulation that is being deposited causes a lot of stress. So we're going to swap that out for stretching, deep breathing, journaling, aka self reflection. So that's going to be happening in an hour. So if you'd like to join me, the link should be right there if you would like to join. This is going to be ongoing, so get in if you can. And one of the outcomes of this practice, and I invite you to engage and to incorporate practices into your lifestyle rather than diets or quick 2 day, 30-day programs. I invite you to look at what new practices you can incorporate into your lifestyle that will carry you until you're old, right? We're all at our most attractive when we are healthy. And the inside, from the inside, a lot, I think we often intellectualize happiness, joy, beauty, but if we were to step back quietly and look at a lot of our autopilot self-sabotaging behaviors where we're actually putting ourselves in harm's way. We complain about other people, but a lot of our recreational practices are putting our bodies, our reproductive organs, our vitality in harm's way. So if we're going to put something out, we're going to replace it with something. And this is going to be, I invite you to cultivate a regular practice of rest, resetting your nervous system and your mind, as well as your heart and your digestion and stretching regular practice. So the tickets are right there. I'm actually so full. Then recipe testing for the meal plan. And a lot of it is, well, all of it's going to always be over here, whole, fresh, simple food. As someone that's been in fitness and food for years, I just am not drawn to cold food. I've done all of them. Every protein powder, every kind of food on the market. I'm trained professional as a chef. I'm just not drawn to fake food. And satiation, by the way, is the best quote unquote diet. I'm so satisfied that I'm not overstuffed or bloated. I couldn't eat anything else even if I wanted to, and that's a good sign. That is what I call meal balancing. So what I am doing, because we want to stop eating before bed, right? And we also don't want to come to a stretching or yoga practice with a whole big belly full of food. So I've already eaten. I've had sufficient protein, all fresh, whole plants. But I am going to make something that's extremely hot, where I'm not cooking fresh mint out of the garden. I also have some limes from a local farmer and some off of my tree. So I'm going to use these limes that I have off of my little tree are so tiny, right? These are local limes, and it will have seeds in them. And this is a local lime, and this is local, like, from the yard, right? And I usually have so many things that I'll do with one ingredient, just like grandma look, right? So these are the ones that are coming from our little tree right here. Look at those nice big seeds. I find a lot of the smell. Oh, it's so fragrant, and the skin is super thick. I find that the skin in the limes, the Mexican limes, usually I get in the States, the skin is so thick and it doesn't really have any seeds in it, right? And then also I can stick my reamer in there and I'm not getting a lot of juice out. Now, these local limes, they'll usually be more orangey. On the inside, they have a lot more juice. They look like an orange and they are full of seeds. Oh my God, the fragrance on these are fantastic. right? So it looks like an orange, but this is actually another variety of lime. There are actually several varieties of lime, and I do so much with a lime. That's my principle, right? Just like my great grandmas and my grandma Lou will take one thing and we'll reinvent it and do several different things with it. So I have, and I measured it, 400 to 500 grams of cucumber or pepino, and I'm going to squeeze the lime juice out. And I usually will find things also to do with the lime skin. Again, I have several pots out in the front of fresh lime, not lime, of fresh mint. We have a lot of fresh mint, which I started some other cuttings. Okay. And so those are growing really nicely. Those have just hit a really hot dry season. So it's so interesting to see all the plants go through their different phases when the weather changes, right? And this is why we have to be much more mindful of electricity and water. So a lot of things we take for granted, especially if we're living in the city. So I can do so much with the lime skin. Don't like to wait till you start growing quite a bit of your own stuff. You start to get an appreciation. And even if you don't have a big garden, I invite you to find a community garden. If you're interested in joining community that has a focus activities around garden slash nature therapy, peaceful consumption, whatever label you want to call yourself, not that. Though the goal is peaceful consumption, food that demonstrates that it loves you back. Right? Peaceful consumption. No judgment. Right? But all of us could benefit from more whole, fresh living and unprocessed food. Your cells know the difference. Right? So we got this bunch of fresh mint. Okay, got to add some ice cream. I'm just being mindful of the time. And again, my food is digested. I feel super satiated. So that is a wonderful spot. It's like many of us haven't felt in a long time for many years what our bodies feel like to feel light without a whole bunch of excess adipose tissue and inflammation. If our midsection is filling out over my waistline, that's a precursor. That's a sign of things to come. That's a sign of metabolic syndrome, which is a combination of several different conditions. So that's not a matter of if, that's a matter of when. So we want to be mindful of all the body positivity, which is wonderful, and there's a fat positivity community. A lot of the influences, quite a bit of the influences have been passing away. So now some of them are starting to change the whole trajectory they're trying to retake. And still, that's not the whole picture. Because all of who you are is not your weight, right? You can be slim slash skinny and still be unhealthy. Though it's a definite fact from my own up close personal family experience, a myriad of people in my family have perished and are suffering due to an excess of adipose tissue inflammation, extra weight on the body, which is really just a manifestation and expression of how we're managing or not managing effectively stress. Not putting any sweetener, not putting any sweetener in here because why are we drinking a whole bunch of extra calories? We have a lot of extra additional adipose tissue that you want your body to metabolize. That means that you're not hitting it. It's a secret. That means that you're not placing a demand. You're not earning your meals. You're having overage. You're taking too much fuel into the car. The fuel tank is filled over, and it's ending up on the baseline, right? If we can organize the stuff in our brain in a comprehensive way, it can save us so much time and heartache. So everybody has their favorite glass. I have a favorite glass and a favorite cup. This is my favorite glass. I know that it's 20 ounces, and I fill it to the very top. I know it's about 24 ounces. I use this during the 5 a.m. workout. And so when I used to drink a lot of hot water running out the door, I put a lid over it that opens up where I can stick a straw in it, and then my hands will not get scorched. And sometimes, every now and then, I drop things. So this will help prevent me from dropping. I've dropped a lot of mason jars. So I can drink this just like this, which is very cool and refreshing. I could also put some ice cubes. Now, as someone that's done living foods for many years, and I've been discussing this a lot with my sister, this year, maybe twice before I've experimented with putting potatoes in, back in, kind of feels like a lot of start. But at the same time, I'm an avid experimenter. I think I'm going to go into this in one of the courses. Some things that I'm adding back and experimenting with. One, because there's several really special local greens slash herbs that you cannot eat raw. One of them I did a video on called chip, and it has another Mayan name. I ate that raw. And let me tell you, I was throwing up until my intestines were coming out of my face. And that was no bueno. That was a hard time. So I've learned several times that there are several things that you cannot eat raw. And there are also several greens that have some really, I mean, some mind blowing properties to them that you can't eat raw. I've identified, I can think of three of them off the top of my head. And they would technically be considered weeds, but the seeds are abundant. They grow up abundantly, they just proliferate. They're wild crafted, so they don't have the pesticides. And so way my mind runs, I'm always thinking of not only food security, but I know exactly what's in my food, and it's beautiful to not think about. It's like I can just walk outside with mint and there's rows of organic greens, but I just think it's just green. But I haven't put any pesticides on it because why would I want to put pesticides on it? That would be an expense. That's more trouble. I'd have to breathe that in. Why would I put pesticides on it? Just for some extra stuff for the blood, right? So the more you start engaging with the earth and with the ground in the most practical way, the food, the herbs, the living foods, the plants are communicating with you, right? It's feedback. It's like a dance. You engage with them and give you information, and your divine common sense starts to kick in. It's the most amazing, humbling process. So I don't have ice cubes over here because I emptied out the ice cubes. I have to go next door to my sister. So I'm gonna drink a little bit of this now because I don't want to be stuffed. Because you don't want to go to yoga or to stretching with an overly stuffed belly. You'll find out when you start doing your final course. So this is a good amount, and I have some extra for later, which I'll put in the refrigerator. And that is a practice to, when you prepare foods, always put something aside for later, right? It saves a lot of time. These are habits. These are practices. And by the way, child, I don't know how my divas do it with the makeup and these hot temperatures. I can't imagine putting on. And again, I'm not anti-makeup. I just like enjoying my skin because I've had so much acne and hyperpigmentation. And I like to keep my skin, my hair, and nails are same to me. But I can't imagine in 90 something degrees having 20 tons of things on, then going from the garden to this class, several classes today. We're about to go stretch. It's not practical. Somebody tell me what I'm missing. I don't know, but I'm about to get ready to go to this class. If any of you are interested in attending, the link is right there. Let's try out this cucumber and mint. Mm. And you know what's really nice? Again, in terms of putting your taste buds in check, sometimes the programming and the conditioning is to go for, I need some sugar, I need some sweetener. But that's a habit. That's conditioning. Until you get used to, or until you have numerous experiences of tasting the natural sweetness inside food, right? That's how you'll start to rewire and recondition and reprogram your brain in the most practical sense. You can start to taste the natural sweetness in fresh lime, even a hint of sweetness in the mint, and definitely inside of the cucumber. So that's a process of reacclimating your taste buds to fresh, whole, natural food. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. This is Body Culinary. Again, if you're new to this channel, welcome to Body Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer. I'm that woman that's looking forward to embracing my hair, my skin, the grays that are coming, even with living foods and exercise. It's coming. So I have chosen to take 110% responsibility for my health so that I can reap the benefits of those tangible deposits on a daily basis. Tamiko, hey, I'm having some Mentina. Yes, Tamiko. That's what's up, Tamiko. You know what time it is. We're not playing. We don't need perfection. We don't need perfection. Consistency we need. Positive accountability is effective. I like to do it work. Positive accountability. I always have a coach in my back pocket. Positive accountability works. Community, and community specifically around those, well, for me, those simple leverage lifestyle practices. Peaceful consumption, food that loves you back. You're growing it, garden slash nature therapy, and a daily movement practice. Do you have to do strength training every day? No. Maybe some days you'll be in the garden. Maybe some days you'll be taking African dance class with Capoeira with me on Fridays. Or maybe some days you'll be doing like helping some friends with their garden. That works a lot. If different people come over and help each other with their compost or turning the soil or remediating the soil, it kind of neutralizes like the distraction and some of the quote unquote cattiness when you have a focus. And then also cooperation is built in. There's so much that's built in that's activated with these simple leverage lifestyle practices. So if you're interested, I hope I see you over there. Again, the goal is to cultivate a practice for the evening so you can trade in a lot of that late night eating, stress eating, anxiety eating. First, we want to cultivate awareness, right? Without beating yourself up, because that's many of us. And rather than beat yourself up, understand it's because it's the pace that we're moving at. It's not a pace. Our current lifestyle doesn't lend itself to self reflection. And a lot of times we're turning to the ice cream, the starch, and the mindless consumption on these TV screens we call smartphones as a way to release stress, but we may not be realizing that it's coming through the back door and actually triggering those basic human fears we've discussed several times in this channel. Fear of failure, aka fear of criticism, right? We're fearful of criticism because we're afraid of failing. Where do we pick that up at? Fear of old age, fear of poverty, fear of death, fear of illness. I'm always fit of death, illness, old age, poverty, failure, criticism, loss of love and never finding love. Those are basic human fears, and they're actually being triggered subconsciously through a lot of what we are ingesting online. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest this evening. I hope that you join me on body-corner.com. You can get a ticket still. If you'd like to participate again in swapping off your late night eating and scrolling and worrying for deep breathing, self reflection through journaling, and stretching so you can reset. And you'll be amazed at how much water retention and adipose tissue you metabolize and drop when you go to bed at a certain hour and you stop eating so late. Hope to see you soon, and I hope to see you at the 5 a.m. workout.